Released in theaters February 13th, 2026, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die is the latest from director Gore Verbinski, a man most famous for his work on The Ring and the ever-lucrative Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. The film is a high-concept, sci-fi action-adventure comedy featuring a host of recognizable faces including Michael Peña and Zazie Beetz, and the most entertaining of which belongs to our unnamed protagonist, played by the incomparable and always magnetic Sam Rockwell, who is just always single-handedly worth the price of admission alone, right? So look, the film promises loads of crazy plot developments and wacky hijinks, but the question is, does it deliver? I'm happy to say the answer is a resounding yes. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die is an undeniably fun time at the movies, one that wears its heart on its sleeve and never really deviates from its primary theme, which kind of boils down to like, phones and AI bad, people good. And I believe this anti-futurist sentiment works extremely well for this film, as it's when Sam Rockwell and the gang wax poetic about the various sociological ills of contemporary society that the movie is at its strongest, a fact that's exemplified by the film's opening, wherein Sam Rockwell spends numerous minutes extolling the dangers of social media and AI to a pretty flippant and dismissive 21st century. Technically speaking, the film looks and sounds amazing, especially for a $20 million film. The cinematography is by a gentleman named James Whitaker, who has had an interesting career spanning music videos and feature films. He had a run of movies in the early to mid-2000s that included the Paul Walker vehicle Running Scared, as well as Jason Reitman's Thank You for Smoking. And here, he's able to make this ultimately small film feel larger than life, and its budget, let's be honest. And I especially appreciate how his night is lit, where he really leans into those blues and gives us this really nice overall atmosphere. Malt Byler's, and I'm hoping I'm saying that right, his sound design is strong throughout, really bringing a lot of punch to the proceedings, but I will admit that I found Jeff Zanelli's score to be a bit silly and kind of not taking things as seriously, which, like, look, I get the film is a little bit silly, but this was almost like a little bit too over the top, even for a film that was admittedly over the top. And it also kind of lacks the same technical polish as the rest of the film, and maybe that's ultimately what I was responding to. Now, as far as the acting is concerned, I do feel like a few members of our ensemble kind of phoned it in. Specifically, Michael Peña and Zazie Beetz, who I called out at the top of the show. We've seen them be very compelling and charismatic. And I don't know if maybe they just got shafted on their payday because this was a smaller budget, but none of that magnetism from the two of them is really on display for the 135-minute runtime of this film. But I did mention at the top of this review that Sam Rockwell is fantastic, and he absolutely is. It doesn't seem to matter what role this man is playing. He's always going to be one of those electric actors that absolutely captivates and demands your attention every second he's on screen. Now, as far as the screenplay is concerned, I think it's at its best when it's eschewing the virtues of a non-technologically driven society, but I did find that it was somewhat dragged down in its pacing by its reliance on flashbacks to fill in the various backstories of the different characters. I also felt as though the characters could have benefited from some more distinguishing characteristics and idiosyncrasies, from both the screenplay as well as the actors. But the film's minor flaws are not enough to take away from an ultimately fantastic whole. From the stellar technical achievements in sound, lighting, and camera work, to the effective use of budget and resources from director Gore Verbinski, to the wonderful characterization of our unnamed protagonist played by Sam Rockwell, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die is a fun romp through a near future that portends a dystopian AI wasteland, and I personally had a ton of fun with this one. When all is said and done, I'm giving the movie 4.25 out of 5 stars. I absolutely believe it warrants a theatrical viewing and encourage audiences of all ages to watch this one wherever they can. For Esoteric Cinema, this is Jason Peters. Keep on appreciating film and enjoy the movies.